Are we on?
We're live.
We're on right now?
Oh, we're so on.
I don't believe you.
We're on.
Wait, we're really on?
We're on like donkeys.
Welcome back. Another episode. Average Bros. Fantasy Football Podcast. Week 2. It's underway. I guess if you could call that game another... You know what? Listen, let me just kind of cut this off real quick first. What is up with the NFL scheduling these weak-ass Thursday night games?
I don't think they realize what they're doing.
Can we get some
do it.
offense?
Yeah. I don't know. I think like ideally they think that they're doing offense, but they're putting offensive games, but turns out not the case.
Yeah, these Thursday night games so far have been trash.
What you call not fun to watch. Actually, this past game wasn't that bad, but then they just totally screwed Christian McCaffrey over at the end.
Yeah, can we just talk about that one play where the guy they were trying to go to get first down and the referee had it. It was short. It was like behind the line, the actual like line. Yeah, and then he passed it to the referee, and then he put it in front of the line.
He hands it to the referee that's in the center, like on one of the hash marks, and this guy legitimately put it up an entire yard.
Yeah,
I think we were at the bar, and I think everybody at the bar, which all at the same time, me especially, I was like, "Whoa, what are you doing? Whoa!"
Yeah. You just want to do like a quick little recap of that game?
Yeah, we can do a little quick recap. So for this one, really quick before we start, I just want to explain. In this one, I'm going to tell you what games we're going to go over. We're going to go over half of the Sunday games. We got the Tennessee versus the Colts, Chargers versus the Lions, Bills at the Giants, Ravens against the Cardinals, Patriots against the Dolphins, Cowboys against the Redskins, Texans against the Jaguars. I'll have those all listed below, but I just want to let you guys know what we're going to talk about. So if you're curious onto maybe like an afternoon game or like a Monday night game, if I didn't say any of your games, maybe go on to the second part of the matchup breakdown, and then you can go and figure out, should I play this guy, should I not? All that information will be there. So, but yeah, let's go over that Thursday night game though, for sure.
Yeah, so the Buccaneers, famous Jameis, he had like a decent game, nothing crazy. What was surprising was Chris Godwin has just been balling these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean I said it kind of like jokingly, but he does seem like he's almost the Mike Evans right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he looks like the number one. I mean, he's been targeted so much.
Yeah.
That game, he just looks really good.
Yeah, so if you have Chris Godwin, you're happy right now. If you had Mike Evans, you're probably not happy. And if you have O.J. Howard, you're on suicide watch.
Yeah, truly. Dude, I don't understand. Like, he kept lining up as fullback. I remember I said that. It was just...
He's just blocking so much.
He's not really doing any type of pass catching. You might as well have Cameron Brate.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brate had more targets than him, or at least a catch, right? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I had as many catches as O.J. Howard, and I don't fucking play professional football.
Yeah, you might as well put Tyler Ravelis in your fantasy lineup.
Yeah, dude.
Sounds pretty good. I'd put you in. I would start you if you were in the league.
Dude, thanks, man.
Even if you played defense.
For sure. So, I mean, for Mike Evans, I know it wasn't a crazy good game, but, I mean, hold tight on Mike Evans. There's definitely better days ahead. He's still one of the, elite wide receivers in the game. I know Godwin's been, doing really good, but in the long run, that's only going to help Mike Evans get better. And I guess if O.J. Howard is just non-existent, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. It's either Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. For O.J. Howard, I mean, I was reading something like saying about Bruce Arians. He's never really used a tight end in his offense. So that kind of worried me, like, for O.J. Howard. But then it was also like he's never had a tight end like O.J. Howard at his disposal. So it's like, okay, like, are you going to use that tight end now? Or is it just this is just his offense where he just doesn't get the tight end involved? I can't lie. I'm pretty nervous about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous too. If you can, would you trade him away at this point? I mean, after week 2, because we're in week 2 now. And so he did get 5 fantasy points last week, which is, it's not good, but yeah, at least he was involved somewhat in the passing game. That's PPR, by the way. But yeah, someone offered me a trade on like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was a tight end for O.J. Howard. I'm kind of wishing I took it after last night's game.
I just don't get it. I mean, Jameis is always like leaned on the tight end. Like
Right.
him and Braid have this like bromance. The tight end's position, and then like for him just to not use OJ Howard for how big and how fast he is, it just blows me away. I mean, Braid had 2 catches for 10 yards on 2 targets.
I mean, OJ Howard had 0 targets last night.
Yeah.
He had 5. He had 5. He did have 5 targets in the game against San Francisco.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess just be patient with it. We'll see what happens. But for the running backs here, I mean, I didn't like any of these running backs. And I mean, last week I think Ronald Jones had a good game. This week it was Peyton Barber, 23 rushes, 82 yards, and a touchdown. He looked pretty decent out there, actually.
Yeah, except for he had that one fumble, but
yeah,
on like the line.
I mean, if you have these guys, God help you.
I mean, I had my dad. My dad dropped Peyton Barber in his league. He asked me if it's worth it to pick up Adrian Peterson, and I think so. I mean, he's kind of in a smaller league, so that was kind of the reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just terrible having a Bucks running back at all. I just don't like it.
They're just going to be so inconsistent.
Right.
Good game here, but then next week people probably be like, oh, let me play Peyton Barber, and now watch Peyton Barber come out next week and just put up a dud.
Right, exactly.
So it's just too I just want to avoid it at all risks. I mean, there's probably, like I said, Adrian Peterson out there, even a guy like Chris Thompson off the top of my head. He's got to be out there. There's probably some better options, actually, realistically.
For sure.
For the Carolina side of the ball, I don't know what's up with Cam Newton, but he doesn't look like Cam Newton.
Right.
He's not running the ball. He had 2 rushes for 0 yards. This is back-to-back weeks where he's hasn't really ran the ball at all, which is weird because he's Cam Newton.
I think it's that ankle injury. I just don't. He's in the past 4 games, he hasn't thrown 4 consecutive season games. He hasn't thrown a touchdown.
Yeah, he looks bad. You know what kind of surprised me is it's the end of the game and it's 4th and 1. They're at the 2-yard line, so it's like, okay, you need 1 yard to get a first down or 2 yards to get a touchdown. And we were at the bar watching the game, and I told you this is vintage Cam Newton time where he's lined up in the wildcat shotgun or whatever you want to call it. They hike him the ball, and he literally just runs and jumps over everybody, and Superman stretches the ball out for the touchdown, and they win. And then they do this dumb, fake Philly special trick play, and they lose the game. And that right there kind of showed me if you're not willing to risk Cam Newton run the ball, maybe there is something.
I mean, I think the problem with that trick play was it was Christian McCaffrey goes to hand it off to I don't even know who it was, but then it was fake. It's okay, it's either. It's you're gonna be expecting Christian McCaffrey. You have one of the best running backs in the league. Obviously, it's not really a trick play to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Kind of just like a wildcat, hike it and him run.
Right.
But if you're gonna do that, you should have just did it to Cam and have him jump over the top.
Yeah, or just give just let McCaffrey do it and run it.
Yeah. Speaking of McCaffrey, after he had that crazy good week 1. Put up a terrible game. 16 rushes for 37 yards. Only 2 catches for 16 yards. I mean, there's definitely better days ahead. I think maybe the Bucs, they knew hey, we're going to make Cam Newton beat us. We're not going to let McCaffrey beat us. Let's kind of stack the box. Let's kind of,
I mean, it worked.
And it kind of worked. So McCaffrey's a stud. He's still going to be, one of the best running backs in the league. For some reason, if you could go get him on the low, I guess, even if that's a possibility to call it on the low. But if you could try to trade for him, I would definitely be trying to do that. The receivers here, you got DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. A ton of targets. Curtis Samuel had 13. DJ Moore had 14. Each put up 80-plus yards, 5-plus catches. So good games for those guys across the board. And then Greg Olsen kind of made me eat my words. I said, I didn't think he was going to be that good. He's coming off a back injury, but 6 receptions, 110 yards on 9 targets. And, I mean, if he's going to be healthy, Olsen, I guess, is still one of the better tight ends in the league. He definitely this is like the Andrew Luck won't throw 50 times thing that Anthony said, and then Andrew Luck was like,
exactly.
Hold my beer. Greg Olsen was like, oh, you saying I'm a bitch? Okay, hold my beer. So, yeah, he came back out, and he had a pretty good game. As far as Cam Newton goes, oh man, if you got him, I wouldn't drop him, but hopefully you have another quarterback and just kind of see how this works out. But his accuracy, he's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Anything you want to touch on that?
No. Yeah, I'm just glad I don't have Cam Newton in any leagues. I mean, shit. If you have O.J. Howard and Greg Olsen is somehow still there, fuck, pick him up at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For sure. All right, so we can jump into these matchups. We'll go through the teams, and then we'll kind of just break down what we think. Got some stats here.
Yeah, we got tons of stats. So many stats. It'll make your dad fat. That's how many stats. Don't you think I'm probably one of the best rhymers? I don't know.
Something like that.
Something like that. So what do we got here first, Mr. Tyler?
So we got the Indianapolis Colts. They're at Tennessee. Tennessee is -3 with a 43.5 over/under. Start on the Colts side of the ball here. I mean, players that you're probably playing on the Colts. You're not playing Jacoby Brissett. Marlon Mack, he looked really good. One of the theories I kind of had, with the whole Andrew Luck retiring was maybe they lean on Marlon Mack a little bit more than they did last year. I mean, they still have one of the best offensive lines in the league. And maybe they kind of have Jacoby Brissett just kind of be like a game manager instead of like a guy like Andrew Luck who's going to throw the ball 50 times.
Right.
So you're definitely just starting Marlon Mack.
Yeah, I mean, he's a lead rusher right now, 175 yards last week.
Yeah, I think he did 25 rush attempts.
Yeah.
Too. So, like I said, they're going to feed him the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
T.Y. Hilton had a crazy good game.
Yeah.
I think I got this right here. 2 touchdowns. I think it was like 8 catches, 87 yards, I think it was. Just good game right here. I mean, pretty much, 9 targets. He was pretty much, Jacoby Brissett leaned on him. After that game, I think you got to play him. I saw a stat actually too, like T.Y. Hilton, he owns the Titans. Like you play against certain teams, you do better than others for some reason.
Yeah.
For some reason, when he plays the Titans, he always has like monster games. So if you got him, you're definitely dialing him up again.
Definitely.
For the other receivers here, Devin Funchess, he got hurt. Last week he broke his collarbone, so he's on the IR. I'm not sure if there's any other receivers here I really trust. Just an interesting name would be Paris Campbell, the rookie they drafted. Just kind of curious to see how much he gets involved in the offense now that Funchess is gone.
Yeah, it's funny. I've seen him get dropped in a couple leagues too.
Yeah.
Because I think it's funny, people sometimes they draft these guys in their last couple rounds as like an upside guy. And I noticed a lot of times they'll let them go after the week 1 or week 2 even. And how many times has it happened to you where week 5 or week 4 someone just shows up and they're there the rest of the year?
Yeah,
it's nice. So I mean, yeah. If you got empty, if say you have like throw somebody on your IR, maybe you have like Tevin Coleman, throw Tevin Coleman on your IR spot if you have it, and then go and pick up Paris Campbell and just see, like you said, see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. For the tight ends, you got Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron. I mean, I wasn't really big on Ebron coming into the year. I thought there was a massive regression with, Doyle being finally healthy. I mean, Andrew Luck's not there. I know you touched on it. Doyle and Brissett kind of had like a more of a connection than Ebron. Ebron finished with 1 catch for 8 yards. Granted, though, he did have a touchdown. I feel like that was called back. Like he caught it, got his feet down, fell to the ground. And it's one of those like control things where like he kind of bobbled the ball when fell to the ground. And he fell out of bounds, and they called it incomplete. So he actually could have had 2 catches for, 20 yards and a touchdown. He's still a red zone guy, but for me, it's like if he doesn't get in the end zone, he's going to put up games like this for you each week.
Right. I mean, I was about to say over O.J. Howard, but he already played.
Yeah. But just some tight ends that I know are out there. If you have Eric Ebron, you drafted him. Maybe you're drafted him because of last year. He was crazy good. Some tight ends that are out there that could help you out potentially. You still got Mark Andrews is 30% available. Greg Olsen is 40% available. T.J. Hawkinson and Darren Waller, they're 25% available. So there's some decent options that are out there. So maybe just check your waiver wire. If you have Ebron,
right?
Because like I said, it's just my opinion, but I feel like he's going to be so touchdown dependent, and in games where he doesn't come down with a touchdown, he's not going to give you a massive, watch him do it now this week. But he's not going to give you like 5 or 6 catches, 100 yards, 80 yards, in my opinion. But what the fuck do I know?
Oh, dude, I mean, you're right. I mean, look, going off this past game, you're not wrong on Ebron's regression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you drafted Ebron for last year's stats, you're not getting it so far.
Yeah.
But
A name that I would kind of just keep on, if you have Ebron and there's no one really out there and you're kind of like panicking, like, oh, what should I do? Chris Herndon from the New York Jets, he's out there. He's available in like 90+% of the leagues. He's suspended, so he can't come back to week 5, but he's a guy who I think when comes back, he's gonna be a guy who you could actually play week in and week out. Just
roll with Ebron throughout week 4 and then pick up Herndon. Yeah, I like that
for sure. As far as the Colts defense, I think this is going to be a tight division game here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'd be playing the Colts defense though.
You like the Titans defense?
I do like the Titans defense. We jump on the Tennessee side of the ball here. I do like their defense. Like I said, tough division game. They're finally at home. I was kind of telling you, like the Colts, they played in. I almost said San Diego, but they played in L.A. against the Chargers. But the Chargers play in a soccer stadium right now, and it's like a small, little soccer stadium. Like there's probably just as many Colts fans as there was.
It's not. Fans. It's not really Chargers home field advantage at all.
Yeah. Now you're going on the road in a division game in a real NFL stadium with a ton of Tennessee Titan fans. And the Titans' defense was pretty good, actually. Good defensive lines. They got some good secondary, like good defense. And a good defensive coach, Mike Vrabel. Defensive guy. So I think that the Titans are sneaky play this week. If you're going to stream a defense, I'm playing him in 2 of my leagues. As far as Marcus Mariota goes, what's your thoughts on Mariota?
I don't like it. If you're in a pinch, I actually, I have Sam Darnold as like I think I have 2 quarterbacks. I have Kyler Murray and Sam Darnold in my FFPC league, and obviously Sam Darnold has mono, and I don't really like the Kyler Murray matchup this week. I think I'm still gonna play Murray over Mariota, but I went ahead and grabbed Mariota just to have another quarterback. If you're in a pinch, if you're in a super flex league, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Or 2 double quarterback league, I guess.
Yeah. This is the craziest stat I saw. It was like 70% of his passing yards came on like 3 or 4 pass attempts because he had like that 75-yard screen to Derrick Henry.
Right.
And then he had like another one to A.J. Brown.
When it's like it's not really him throwing 75 yards.
Yeah. And then
it's not like air yards.
Yeah, there was another one where he threw to A.J. Brown and like a slant or something like that. And he kind of, he made it yards after catch. He broke off like a 50-yard run.
Right.
And that's 125 yards on 2 passes alone right there. I still just don't think Mariota is very good. And I still think, at some point in the year, Tannehill takes over this job.
That's when things could get interesting.
Yeah.
Over there.
Honestly, for me, the only players I'm even starting here is I'm not big on Derrick Henry. I didn't think he was going to have a good game last week, but he kind of made me, hold my beer, Tyler.
Right.
I'm going to go put some in. So, if you have Derrick Henry after what he did last week, you're definitely dying him up. And Delaney Walker. But besides those 2 guys, I don't think I'm really playing anyone.
Right.
Corey Davis, didn't have a good game. He got shut out against Denzel Ward.
Right.
Adam Humphries, I think, had like 1 catch, and then A.J. Brown had 3, maybe 4 catches.
And people are running to pick up A.J. Brown, too.
Yeah.
But,
this is still a run-first defensive team. That's what they want. They want to run the ball and play defense and hope Mariota doesn't fuck it up. But just a good stat on Delaney Walker after he already had a crazy good week last week. But last year, the Colts gave up the most receptions to tight ends, and they gave up the most yards to tight ends. So if you have Delaney Walker, definitely down him up. He's top 5 play for me this week. And then, like I said, I do like the Titans' defense as a streaming.
Yeah, I picked up the Titans' defense in a couple leagues.
Jump in the next matchup. We got the Los Angeles Chargers. They're -2 at the Detroit Lions with a 47.5 over under. Charger side of the ball. Phillip Rivers. I feel like he just does what he does every week. He just consistently gets it done.
Yeah.
Nothing sexy, but nothing bland. It's just.
He's like, he's just been around forever. He knows how to play any type of game. He's been in it. Dude, their division's pretty hard. So it's like, if you can handle playing against the Chiefs and I feel like the Raiders, even the Broncos, everybody, they're all kind of in it all the time. He knows how to play any type of game.
Yeah. I mean, 333 passing yards and 3 touchdowns last week. The only thing I could say this week is if you have Rivers as your quarterback, they lost Hunter Henry. You know, he fractured his
he just doesn't have options right now.
tibia or fibia or whatever. And then Mike Williams, you know, is one of our man crushes. You know, he's battling a knee injury, and he's actually going to be a game-time decision. So I guess I would say if no Hunter Henry, and then if Mike Williams was to sit, then I would probably downgrade Rivers and maybe see if you have better options. I don't know if you drafted a different quarterback potentially, but
all that makes me think is Eckler.
short.
It's gonna be the Eckler show.
Eckler and Keenan Allen are probably going to have 10 receptions each.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, besides those guys, like even if Mike Williams plays, I'm not sure how confident I would be because he's going to see Darius Slay. I don't know if Darius Slay will shadow him, but he's going to see Darius Slay not most of the time, but he'll see him, at least half of the snaps, I would assume. Darius Slay is one of the, premier corners in the league. It'd probably be Eckler and then Keenan Allen are the only two I feel confident in right here. Mike Williams, I don't want to throw him out there even as much as I do like him. He has a touchdown upside. He could come out and have a good game, but then he could also come out and re-aggravate the knee, and maybe they take him out as a precautionary. So I would probably be waiting on Mike Williams. One more
definitely.
week.
That's gonna definitely be like a game time decision. So for sure, pay attention to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have Mike Williams in 2 leagues, and I'm kind of just planning already on not even having him. And like I said, even if he plays, I don't know how confident I'll feel. With a bad knee, and then even like I said, Darius Slay. Sometimes covering him, that's not a good matchup. Chargers defense.
The only thing I wrote a note is I think it will be a downgrade a little bit for the Chargers running game this week, just because I was looking at Damon Harrison. Since they had him on the defensive line on the Lions, their rush defense went from like averaging like 110 yards or 130 yards a game, opponent rushing to like 70 yards a game.
So would that
was
mean
from like halfway through the last year?
Yeah. So with that being said, would you start Justin Jackson then, or is it just
So I would just be kind of more on Eckler, and be chilling on the Justin Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we agree. Eckler and then Keenan Allen are the guys you're starting here.
Yeah.
I'm probably fading the Chargers defense here. There's got to be better options out there you can stream.
Definitely.
On the Lions side of the ball, Stafford, crazy good game last week. I think he finishes the 4th best quarterback on the week. I think a lot of people are going to be like, oh, let me go ahead and just start Stafford again, especially there at home. I'm a little bit worried for Stafford in this week just because, you have the Chargers defense is pretty decent actually.
Yeah.
They have Amendola had a good game last week, but he's going to see Desmond King, who is the number 1 rated corner on Pro Football Focus. So I'd be fading Amendola, and then you have Casey Hayward. He's going to shadow Kenny Golladay.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sleep on Kenny Golladay because he's they call him Babytron for a reason, but definitely a tough matchup. Casey Hayward is actually the number 2 rated corner.
Right.
On Pro Football Focus. That's
pretty
good.
wild.
They have the 1 and the 2 guy. Those guys, just tough matchups for Amendola, tough matchup for Kenny Golladay. The one receiver who I feel like could actually have a bounce back game is probably Marvin Jones because he's going to avoid those 2 corners most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. If you're in a pinch, throw him as a flex option.
Yeah.
3 wide receiver league, something like that.
Yeah. And then, Kerryon Johnson, you're starting him. And then the tight end, TJ Hawkinson, just burst onto the scene.
He played 90% of snaps last week.
90%.
90% of snaps. I like my tight ends playing 90% of snaps.
For sure, yeah. I can't imagine he was probably one of the main waiver wire targets
for sure
this past week. If you got him, the matchup's not great on paper, but here's a guy where he could be more involved. Like I said, you got Casey Hayward on Golladay, and you got Desmond King who's going to line up on Danny Amendola a lot. So he's got to throw the ball to somebody. Maybe Hawkinson's the guy he kind of leans on here.
Right.
Defense-wise, I'm not starting the Lions defense. You got anything you want to touch on that?
I don't think much people are. Do you want to talk about Kerryon Johnson? Or did you?
I just said you're pretty much starting him.
Yeah, I think you're starting him too.
Yeah. Maybe he gets leaned on a little bit more in the passing game since these receivers.
Marlon Mack ran 175 yards against the Chargers last week, so I'm kind of hyped on Kerryon Johnson this week. See what can happen. Obviously, like you said, Colts O-line is pretty fucking good, so maybe that's why, but I like it.
Yeah, no, I like Kerryon Johnson for sure. Next matchup, you got the Buffalo Bills. They're -1.5. They're at the New York Giants. 44-point over/under. Going on the Bills side of the football here. I mean, on the Bills side, who would you even feel comfortable playing outside of John Brown and maybe Devin Singletary?
I would maybe play Josh Allen, but
it's not a bad, especially in double quarterback league. He runs the ball.
That's the only, if like I said with Kyler Murray's matchup this week, I was hoping Josh Allen was there, but yeah, because that's all I have. So that's probably like one of the only guys. John Brown for sure, yeah. But besides that, I don't know how I feel about anybody else.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen's a pretty good one. I'd probably play Josh Allen over
Frank Gore.
Those running backs that I'd probably play Josh Allen over those quarterbacks we just touched on, Rivers and Stafford actually. Yeah. Just one thing for Josh Allen, he ran the ball 10 times last week. Frank Gore had 11. So Josh Allen's pretty much a running back. He's running the ball here like crazy here. As for Frank Gore, probably not. He didn't.
I wouldn't either. I was just asking.
He's probably a good depth guy if you're holding on to him. You never know. But the Singletary guy looks really good. And he actually Devin Singletary played 70% of the snaps. He only had 9 touches on those, but he averaged 11 yards per touch. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
He had five receptions, so he's getting those PPR points for you. And then what I like to see is like TJ Yeldon, I think only played 2 snaps.
And that's what you like to see. Yeah, like you said, that's what you like to see if you own a running back.
Yeah.
Is the snap count being
for the other players, not because I was worried if Yeldon gets more involved in the passing game, but it was Singletary who was the running back who was getting the passes. So I think if you have Singletary, you're definitely dialing him up. At least a flex guy. Maybe if you kind of went wide receiver, tight end, quarterback first, and then you started getting these running backs a little bit later. I'm not mad at starting Singletary at all this week. Bills defense, kind of a sneaky play, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of underrated, their defense.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Third and down syndrome will do something.
You never know. They're just on that opposite side there. The Giants, you pretty much have, Sterling Shepard, he's out with a concussion. Golden Tate's still suspended. It's pretty much Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley, and that's it. And if, the Bills want to just try to double Evan Ingram and stack the box, this could be a rough game for Eli Manning and the Giants. So I do think the Bills is a sneaky good streaming offense, defense. With that being said, would you agree just Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley for the Giants?
Yeah, they're a little slim pickings on offense.
Yeah,
and it's always I always wonder if Saquon. I just feel like that's all they got. So I always wonder how good would he be if they had more going on. It's like Odell. It's like wasn't when he was there wasn't really there as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm always curious. Is like there's just only 2. That's all they got.
Yeah.
If he will be any type of fan, if he will be as fantasy relevant, if anybody else is there.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I could say though is Golden Tate's available in 52% of leagues. Yeah. I know he's suspended for the next three games, but if he's there, go get him because I feel like he's probably gonna add more value to you than holding on to whoever your worst player is, unless you're just stacked. But he's a guy who, especially in a PPR league, Golden Tate was pretty much a 90 reception, 1,000-yard minimum guy each and every year in Detroit. And like I said, they don't have anyone over there. It's Evan Ingram and it's Saquon Barkley. Yeah, Sterling Shepard's there, but I think Golden Tate, they obviously went out and got him for a reason. I think he's going to actually play a big part in this offense when he comes back. So, like I said, 52% available. If you got an open roster spot, I would definitely go snag him. Maybe you can even get him on the low. Maybe some guys got him, and he's just like, you try to make a trade for him, and he's like, oh, whatever, like I can't use him anyways. Maybe you can trade him for pennies on the dollar.
There you go, dude. You are the trade master. Always thinking trades.
Bro, I'm always trying to do trades.
Dude, I'm always trying to do trades too, but everybody's a pussy.
Next matchup, you got the Arizona Cardinals traveling to Baltimore. They're going to face off against the Lamar Jacksons. The Lamar Jacksons are -13 with a 46-point over-under. For the Cardinals side, I'm worried for Kyler Murray
Me
in the Cardinals.
Me too. Trust me too. Do you start Kyler Murray?
I would be as I would say, I would be fading Kyler Murray in this. I mean, just think of it from an outside perspective. I know Kyler Murray had a pretty good game at home against the Lions, but when you think about playing at home against the Lions defense, and now you have to travel to, West Coast now you have to travel to the East Coast, and you're playing in Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore's
just in that
fuck.
atmosphere of,
Yep.
and him being a rookie and that
Yeah.
offensive line not being very good. I'm worried for Kyler Murray. I mean, I know the Ravens defense isn't the same defense it was before in the past, but they're still a pretty good defense.
That's a huge spread for the Ravens. I mean, that's only 6 off of the Patriots playing the Dolphins.
Yeah. I think the Ravens
Minus
actually
13.
I think the Ravens actually cover.
No, I
that.
think they could, but I'm just saying, like, you don't really see the Ravens having a spread like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that worries me too.
I mean, outside of David Johnson, I don't know. I'm not sure if feel comfortable playing anyone. And one thing about David Johnson, I was kind of like looking at the numbers. So last week he had 24 touches, 137 total yards, 7 targets, and he played 87% of the snaps. So I mean, he's the guy there. And like when you think of David, I feel like David Johnson's not the sexiest name,
Right.
but he gets it done.
Yeah,
You
no.
know? He's not like the Zeke or Kamara or Christian McCaffrey. He's not in the news. He's not causing any drama or any problems. He's just like a low-key, mellow guy.
Yeah.
He just goes out and gets it done.
It's because he probably learns from Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, truly, though, like if you're in the locker room and your other more consistent offensive player is Larry Fitzgerald, Larry Fitzgerald's one of the most even-keeled guys ever.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you play Larry Fitzgerald this week?
I'm playing David Johnson. I would temper expectations. I think, he's still probably PPR-wise, he still probably gets a couple dump-offs. He's obviously going to get the, run the ball. So I think you're still starting David Johnson. Just don't expect a monster game. Outside of that, I mean, maybe I'm wide receiver 3, Larry Fitz.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm flexing Larry if I'm in a double flex league. But even then, I don't feel too confident. I'm really nervous for the Cardinals and that offensive line in Baltimore. Like I said, a rookie, his first game on the road.
Yeah.
Tough environment. I'm just worried for them.
For sure.
Pray for Kyler.
Hashtag pray for Kyler.
Hashtag pray for Kyler. With that being said, on the other side of the ball, Ravens, I mean, Lamar Jackson came out and just burst onto the scene. Just, I was pretty big on him coming into this year. Just because I was telling a lot of people, like, here's a guy who's a running back in a sense, you could throw into your quarterback spot. But he didn't even run the ball last week. He threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I think, there's obviously going to be more games where he runs the ball a little bit more.
It is crazy that he threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, if you're listening to this, Lamar Jackson's his record is 2 touchdowns in a game. When he got his 3rd touchdown last week, he broke his record.
Yeah.
And so obviously that's not. I mean, he just doesn't pass touchdowns. He's not going to get 5 touchdowns again. He might do it this week, but I don't think after this week he's not going to do the same thing.
The one thing with Lamar Jackson is like he's not going to have a 5 touchdown game again, but he's got super safe floor. I think he scored. I think it's like 14 or 15 points every single week. That was like his floor.
He's like the 2012 Cam Newton.
Yeah, so it's like that. Like what you're going to get with him. You're getting at least 14. Points, but you could get more,
Mm-hmm.
So, you're starting him, you're starting Mark Ingram. The receivers is where it gets tricky here. I know Marquise Brown had those, 2 touchdowns, but he only played 14% of the snaps.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at all the receivers who played that game, and there was 4 or 5 receivers, and he played the least amount of snaps out of any of the receivers.
So I agree, and I've made this point to a couple of people, and I totally think you're right because I feel like I'm right. But Marquise going this week against a bad secondary. Do you know what corner he's lining up against, or do you not know off the top of the head?
Probably not a good one.
Yeah. So because with the Cardinals secondary, they're banged up. Patrick Peterson is suspended. I think Marquise Brown could still have a good game this week, but I would be if you go through this week and Marquise Brown has a touchdown and whatever yardage this week, I would definitely be trying to trade high on him.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you go and pick him up, I just don't. I just after this week, I don't think he's gonna do the same thing.
I mean, if he comes out, like say, if he comes out and has a good game, try him high. I mean, I guess we can say Marquise Brown. He's like a Deshaun Jackson. He's like a boom bust guy. So he's either gonna hit the home run for you, or he's not.
I feel like people compared him to Tyreek Hill with that, like, it could be the third quarter and he has no points, and all of a sudden he has an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Because he just zooms. He's just so fast.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is not a big guy.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown, but the snap percentage scares the shit out of me too.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I could say, like, he had the 2 touchdowns. One of them came on like a quick slant, and the guy just missed the tackle, and then he kind of just like ran right by the safety, kind of a blown coverage. And then the second one was like another blown coverage. Like he kind of just got behind the defense, and Lamar, there was like a play action, fake QB run, and then he kind of lofted over the top. So I'm just kind of, the snap percentage just worries me. I mean, I guess if you went out there and you spent a good amount of fab or
I don't mind
a good waiver priority, you're definitely probably playing him.
My point is I don't mind you playing him this week, but don't expect him to be your every week flex guy.
Yeah. The tight end Mark Andrews, he had a good game. I think it was like 8 receptions for like 108 yards. I mean, I guess the tight end landscape's so thin. You're definitely dialing him up again. And then the Ravens defense, I like them, against the Cardinals. Like I said, I'm pray for Kyler. Hashtag pray for Kyler. Next game right here, we got the New England Patriots. They're minus 19. They're in Miami against the Dolphins. 48.5 over under. Starting the Patriots side of the ball here. I mean, the fucking fucking Brady, 19
Brady.
minus fucking 19, bro. I'd fucking lay minus 34, bro. Tom fucking Brady, bro.
Hey, listen. I'm a Dolphins fan now, okay? I don't know if people know this, but I'm going to put it out there. I put $100 on the Dolphins money line against the Patriots. I need a Miami Miracle 2.0.
So yeah, Mike. So we're in a group chat. Mike sends a picture of a ticket, and he puts $110 on the Dolphins plus 1,000. So 10 to 1 basically.
Yeah.
Money line.
That's what made me look. I looked up on Football Locks. I saw that, and that's how you know you're bad at betting is when you look at what the payout is and then you make your bet. That's not how you bet. That's not the best way to bet.
So my response to his text message was, I didn't know you like to burn money.
Yeah.
You could just give it to me.
Yeah. So if you guys want $100, let me know and I'll put it on the Dolphins. Anyways. I just think that this is the best odds. I think the Dolphins are going to win a game, at least one game this year, on accident, and it could be this.
It's not going to be this game. Although I do say this, we do play the Patriots really good in Miami.
You
for
guys,
some reason.
the past like 6 games, it's like 1-5.
I would say this. I think last year they were minus like 14 or minus 17. The Patriots, and the Dolphins just won outright.
Yeah.
You also bet the Dolphins money line in that one.
I don't think so.
No.
No, you bet the Patriots, and I was like, how could you do that against them? And you were so mad because you guys won, and then you lost money on it.
Maybe it was 2 years ago that you bet the Dolphins. It was a Monday night game, and they won.
It was when Jay Cutler did it.
It might have been Jay Cutler. Damn, we had Jay Cutler.
Yeah, remember him?
Yeah. You see that fool's in like beer commercials?
Hey, side
like
note,
he was in like a Dos Equis commercial.
I didn't know that. But did you know? I found this out. I was watching this show. I think I was watching like Rich Eisen show or something, and they were talking about Jay. Do you know? I didn't know this. That Jay Cutler had a separate area where his locker was because nobody liked him in the Bears locker room.
So he had like his own little locker.
He had like his own little area with his locker in it because nobody liked him in the locker room.
That's so weird.
That's so bad, right?
Yeah.
No wonder he fucking. And of course, the Dolphins are like, sign me up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
right.
Let's talk about the game though, huh? Patriots,
right,
huh?
So the Patriots, you're getting AB, the whole AB dilemma. The saga continues. He got accused of sexual assaults. Alleged sexual assault. They were talking about him being on the commissioner's exempt list, which would make him ineligible to play. He avoided that, so he's all systems go to play this week.
Do you think? I think he ends up being. This ends up being one of those things. I mean, I don't know how long the lawsuit or the the court case or whatever goes on, but I think it ends up being one of those things that like remember when Tom Brady got suspended the following year?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something like that, or unless they just like have full proof and evidence, and that's a whole different story. But
Yeah.
how do you feel about AB? I'm trying to trade him,
I mean, I'd probably be trying to trade him.
but
I mean, if you have him, I think you're probably rolling him out there in this game.
I think you have to.
Just to see what happens. I mean, if he goes off on your bench and you didn't play him, you're gonna be pissed.
And here's the thing: is that Patriots don't let up. If they do end up having this lead and beating the spread or covering the spread, they're gonna still try and win.
Yeah, they'll score 50 plus if they can.
Yeah, they don't care. They won't. He won't let up on the gas. Bill Belichick. He's known to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you're Tom Brady, you're starting him. AB, you're starting him. I'm curious to see how much usage he gets. I know when they signed Josh Gordon last year, that first game he played, he only played like 25% of the snaps or something like that, 30%. So it wasn't a ton. So I'm curious to see how much AB plays. Especially because a lot of people say that the playbook there in New England is like really hard to like learn and get a grasp of. He's only been there for a week
and a half,
10 days maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how much he knows. And then also when he does play, he's probably going to see a little bit of Xavier Howard from the Dolphins. He's one of the best corners in the league. He's probably our best player, the Dolphins. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works out.
It's so crazy the Patriots have Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
All for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. I think having AB there is actually going to benefit Josh Gordon because I feel like most of the time now your best corner is probably going to be on AB, and now you're getting your second corner on Josh Gordon, and that's silly.
Well, it's like hard, and it's hard to know who's a better receiver because Josh Gordon really hasn't played in the past like 3 or 4 years. It's like he's not really played that much.
Yeah.
So it's like AB's right now is known as like the best receiver or one of the best receivers, but it's kind of like you're going up. I don't know. Josh Gordon's up there too. So
for sure. I mean, you're starting Josh Gordon too, and then Edelman, PPR guy. You're definitely starting him.
Start everybody.
Yeah, the running backs is where it gets a little tricky. I mean, I know Michelle didn't have a good game last week.
I think Sony Michel's going to have a bounce back game.
Yeah. So I was listening to a different podcast. I'll listen to like other podcasts, just kind of get other people's perspectives. Sometimes other podcasts have like really good stats that I can't find. But they were just saying, if Sony Michel can't get it done in this game, then that's like when all the red flags are going to go off. Because this is a game where the -19, they should be in control. It should be like a ground and pound, like, hey, let's get this W and get out of here.
Right. No, this is what it shouldn't be if they doesn't get it in this game, is if the game script goes as Vegas is predicting it, and he doesn't, then that's when you'd be worried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the Dolphins end up winning and I win $1,000, then I would
then
be.
beers
And
on
Sony
Mike.
Michel doesn't. Yeah, sure. And Sony Michel doesn't. What's it called? Produce. Then yeah, for sure, be worried.
I mean, the one thing I could say is
Are you playing Rex Burkhead or are you playing James White?
I think Rex Burkhead is a sneaky play in this game.
I think so too.
If you're like in a double flex league,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
No, that's all. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I was curious.
I mean, Rex Burkhead played. I think last week it was James White played the most snaps, but then Rex Burkhead only played one snap less than him, and then Michelle played the least amount out of the three, which is weird because in that game they were dominating the whole game and they were in control. But
Sony Michel still had like 15.
He did lead them with the rushing attempts, but he didn't yards per carry average wise. He didn't do very good. Here's the thing with Rex Burkhead. And I was kind of telling you this off air is, it's like you have Michelle, who's the ground and pound guy, but he doesn't really catch, and then you have James White, who's the catching guy, but he doesn't really run. He's not really like the between the tackles kind of guy.
Sure.
Rex Burkhead is like if those guys like Super Saiyan fuse together, like that's what he is. Like he can run between the tackles and he can catch. And he's white, so I feel like the defenses sleep on him. They're like, oh, like the white running back's in, like they're not going to run the ball. But then, like, what do? They run the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like the white running back's in, like I got AB and Josh Gordon out here, and Edelman. We got to focus on them. And then what does Tom Brady do? He throws a fucking 5-yard dump off to Rex Burkhead.
That's Tom Brady's MO right there, 5-yard dump off.
Yeah, and it's like even last year we were watching the Super Bowl, and James White was just crushing it all last year. I mean, Rex Burkhead was hurt for the majority of the year. Sonny Michel was kind of, banged up a little bit too. And James White was just eating. He, was a top 10 running back for the whole year pretty much. But when we got in that Super Bowl, James White was like non-existent. And Rex Burkhead was getting a ton of run.
Sure.
And I don't know if they just like him.
Yeah,
Maybe
it seems like the Patriots have 3 children, right? Yeah. And Rex Burkhead is their favorite child. They won't ever admit to it, but that's their favorite kid.
I mean, it really is. He gets a ton of run, and he was available in a lot of leagues. And if he is, I would go grab him. Just because Michelle, he had the offseason knee surgery, like a little knee scope or something like that. But if Michelle was to get hurt by any chance, or miss a game because of his knee, I think Rex Burkhead will be a solid running back.
Yeah.
So just something to keep an eye on. Like I said, I think he's a sneaky good play this week. If you're kind of in a pinch for some reason. And you need someone, and he's there. I think Rex Burkhead, you could start him.
Yeah, I like it.
Dolphins side of the ball here. Ugh, this is gross. I don't know who I feel comfortable playing on here at all.
How about let's just start with running backs. Don't play Fitzpatrick. Who's even starting? Josh Rosen? Josh Rosen came in halfway through the game last game.
Yeah, only thing I can say is this. Drake's there, so maybe he gets PPR-wise, some passes because they got to, catching the game. I would not be playing Balaj. Albert Wilson, he's out already. So, but the one thing I can say is Devontae Parker, if Fitzpatrick's there, a lot of these game scripts are going to be them chasing from behind. Like, they're always going to be trailing. They're always going to be throwing. And Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger. He's willing to just chuck it up to the receiver.
500.
Yeah, he's willing to just, chuck it up to the guy and see if he can make a play. So, just some numbers on Devontae Parker. He had 7 targets last game, 164 air yards. So, that's pretty good for, the air yards category-wise. I'd be fading him this week because he's going to see a shadow from Stephon Gilmore, and he's one of the best corners in the league. But going forward, I think Devontae Parker is going to have some type of value if he could just stay healthy and stay in the field. And with the game scripts, them having to throw the ball majority of the time, I think he's a guy where him and Fitzpatrick could link up, and he could have some pretty big games.
I like it. Little Devontae Parker action. I would agree. That's probably all I would be playing on the Dolphins side. Devontae Parker. Obviously, Kenny Stills is gone in Houston now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we didn't touch on it, but Patriots defense. I think Patriots defense is a good streaming option this week.
If they're there, I think they got picked up mostly in waiver wire. But if they're there, and say you have if you listen to Mr. Miyagi defensive stream of the week last week, and you pick the Jets defense, I would drop the Jets defense and pick up the Patriots.
Yeah. All right. So next matchup, you got the Cowboys -5.5. They're at Washington, playing the Redskins for a division game, 46.5 point over/under. Cowboys side of the ball. Here's one thing for the Cowboys I just kind of want to say. I remember doing a post and saying is Dak Prescott a top 10 quarterback? And everyone was like, no, definitely not, no. And it's but the last 3 years he's finished as QB 11, QB 10, and QB 6.
He's won 9 out of his last 11 starts.
And then he comes out this week 1 and he just has a monster week 1.
I think Amari Cooper really helps him with that. Amari Cooper just just gives him that extra option.
Yeah.
I think before Amari Cooper was there, it was a lot of Zeke,
Yeah. I like Dak again this week.
Yeah.
You're dialing him up.
Down Zeke.
Zeke, dialing him up. Amari Cooper.
I'm with it.
Hit him on the hotline bling. You're dialing him up. And then Michael Gallup, one of my sleepers. I think you're playing him again too.
Jeez, you're just following suit from last week. NFL Week 1 2.0, huh?
Gallup's a sneaky guy. I think if he's out there,
what about Rant? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say if he's out there by any chance, I would for sure go grab him. Because like I said, I think Gallup only benefits from Amari Cooper being there as well.
Okay.
Because he's kind of, the defenses are going to put their main corner on Amari Cooper, and that kind of leaves Gallup to, eat in a sense. We kind of touched on it. Tyler Boyd's better with A.J. Green out there.
Yeah.
But when A.J. Green's not out there, he kind of struggles a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
So having Amari Cooper out there, I think benefits Gallup. And I think Gallup is going to be a consistent fantasy play throughout the whole year.
Nice. Flex option. 11th round. What about big boy Randall?
Sneaky PPR guy. I mean, I think some weeks he'll be good, some weeks no. I think the Redskins actually were one of the stingiest teams against the slot wide receiver actually last year. So he might be someone I'm fading. I mean, you could grab him, throw him on your bench, and just see what happens. Like I said, if he has another good game, if you grab him, you throw him on your bench, at least you have him. You're a week ahead instead of a week late.
With that.
What about Razor Knife Arms?
Jason Witten.
He had a touchdown.
He did have a touchdown. I don't mind Jason Witten. This week, I think there's better options. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's the sexiest start, but I don't think it's the worst start.
I mean, would you play him over
You
O.J.
could do
Howard?
worse, like O.J. Howard, yeah.
So that's you. Would you play him over O.J. Howard? Yes.
Yes.
Fuck.
Cowboys defense. I like the Cowboys defense. One of the better defenses in the league for sure. Redskins side of the ball. Case Keenum. We're not starting Case Keenum.
No.
I guess the big news in Washington would be Darius Geis was placed on the IR. He had a meniscus injury, so he's going to be out for 8 weeks. So that kind of opens the door for AP to jump in again. And then you also have Chris Thompson, who I think led them last week in targets.
I could see Darius Geis not playing the rest of the year.
It's just crazy because everyone's had the Darius Geis hype, but I remember we had this conversation, and I was like, yeah, like he didn't look good. Like in the preseason, that one game he had, he didn't look good. He looked slow.
You know who did look good? Adrian Peterson had
a
preseason game where he broke off a couple runs and looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, AP was out there in a ton of leagues. Like I said, if he's available, I'd for sure go grab him. And even Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson's available in like 50% of leagues. He needs to be 100% owned because AP's like the Thunder, but Chris Thompson's the Lightning. And just some stats on Chris Thompson. I think you could start Chris Thompson too. You could start both these guys this week, I think. Actually, I'd probably even rank Chris Thompson ahead of AP just because if this game turns into, the Cowboys dominating and the Redskins have to come from behind, like I said, Chris Thompson's the receiving back. And he actually led them last week with 10 targets. And then the Cowboys, not very good against defending the running backs, who catch the ball. Last year, they were, bottom 5 in terms of, allowing like yards and receptions to running backs. That's Chris Thompson, not AP.
Yeah.
So go grab him. Chris Thompson, available in 50% of leagues. He needs to be 100% owned, especially if Geis is going to be out for as long as he is.
I think after this week, you probably will see that.
Yeah. He's
not 100%, but
he's going to be a guy, if he comes out and has another good game, he's going to be at the top of the waiver wire
for sure
list. I think you actually grabbed him in one of our leagues, didn't you?
Maybe. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, I think he snaked me.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Well, when we did our super duper flex league.
Yeah. Starting those guys, AP and Chris Thompson. Receiver-wise, you had the rookie Terry McLaurin?
Terry McLaurin.
He came out, monster game, 100-plus yards. He was another hot waiver wire guy this week.
And I think he even gets better if Dwayne Haskins does it. And don't they have some type of rapport?
Yeah, they played college together at Ohio State, him and Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
They just don't have a number one receiver there. I do know we like Trey Quinn, PPR kind of guy, but like as a true number one wide receiver, maybe this guy can take over and be that guy.
Right.
Josh Doxson wasn't it. Paul Richardson is more of kind of just like a speedster kind of guy. So maybe McLaurin is the guy, and I'm not sure how confident I would feel playing him, but having him on my team, I definitely like it. In a game I guess where, if they're trailing and they got to come back, he could see a ton of targets and another good game as well.
Yeah.
You got anything to touch on that or?
No. Yeah. It's what you got: Paul Richardson, Terry McLaurin, and Trey Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna play any of those receivers, I'd play Terry McLaurin. I would not be playing Trey Quinn or Paul Richardson.
For sure. Tight end wise, Jordan Reed, he's out. He's got another concussion. I'm pretty sure he's gonna go full retard.
You're not supposed to say that word anymore, dude.
Return yard? I was like, what?
Return yards?
No, but honestly, it's
dude, he's return yards.
You see guys like Andrew Luck who, they call it quits early. Even guys like, Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, just a couple guys off the top of my head. These guys called it quits early because they started thinking about their health more than like the money or the game. And it's like, at what point does he say like, hey man, I've had like 20 concussions. Like, because I feel like he's had like 20.
Well, did you see? Yeah. I mean, Gronkowski came out and said in his football career, did you see that?
No.
He came out and said in an interview, they asked him, how many concussions do you think you've had? And he said 20.
20?
He said playing football, like his whole life, you know?
Yeah.
So probably like 20.
Oh, wow.
I mean, dude, 20 concussions is so.
That's a lot.
That's not just 20 times your brain was damaged. That's 20 times you had a concussion, like a severe enough concussion where you were like, yeah, I had a concussion.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's bad. So, and I think you're right. Jordan Reed at least has had, what, 4 or 5 in the league?
I feel like every year he has a concussion.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it just comes to a point of where he's like, hey, man, I have to worry about my health. Like, you don't want to turn into a vet. Like, really, like, I know we joke around saying he's one hit away from going full retard, but it's a possibility, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you see, you know, for instance, like a Muhammad Ali, you know, he got hit so many times in the head that he kind of, like, lost
Yeah, some people
who he
lose.
was.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, at what point does he just sit back and say, like, hey, you know, football got me to a certain point. You know, I made X amount of dollars playing football. I'm grateful for it. But, you know, what about my health going forward?
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I don't know. That just worries me. Him not playing, you still got Vernon Davis there, who had that crazy good play, Vernon Davis. He like a 5-yard pass, and he's running on the sideline. He just, like, jumps over the guy.
I think the past, like, 2 or 3 years, Vernon Davis ends up being more fantasy relevant than Jordan Reed.
Yeah. Sneaky good tight end play.
Yeah.
Vernon Davis.
If you want to play O.J. Howard this week, maybe play Vernon Davis.
Who would have known after 1 week, Vernon Davis would have more points than O.J. Howard after 2 games?
Yeah.
That's why this
Anyways.
is fantasy, bro. That's what it's like. I don't know.
That's all on the Cowboys Redskins. You want to jump into this next one?
Yeah. So you got the Jaguars. They're traveling to Houston. Going to play the Texans. Texans minus 8.5, 43.5 point over under.
I think Jaguars will cover that 8.5 point spread.
Yeah, looking at the over under at 43.5, but then the Texans are laying 8.5. It's like what I mean. What are they going to win 24-10 in order for you to hit the under? And
Right.
I mean, I guess that's a possibility.
It is, but I mean, is it though? Yeah, I would just looking at game script wise, I could see the Jaguars covering. This would be probably a closer game than people were thinking. I mean, even the Jaguars Chiefs game for a while was closer than people thought.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jaguars side of the ball, it's like they got, as my brother called him, Uncle Rico from the Napoleon Dynamite with the mustache.
Gary Minshew.
Backup, yeah, Gary Minshew. Or Minshew, or whatever his name is.
Minshew, I don't know.
So Foles is out, broke his collarbone. He's going to be out for 8 to 9 weeks, I think it is, or whatever, for the IR. So Minshew's in as the quarterback for now.
They just signed Josh Dobbs.
They traded for Josh Dobbs,
Yeah.
from the Steelers.
But yeah, he'll still be the backup probably, just because Gary Minshew actually looked pretty good. Would you play Gary Minshew?
Definitely not. But crazy that, like you said, like they always say, like, be ready for your moment, like be ready for your name to be called. You never know when it's going to be. But it's like how you're a rookie and it's the first week, and he gets thrown into the game. And I think he went 22 for 25.
That's pretty good, dude.
I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns too.
That's pretty good.
That's better than a fucking Dolphin quarterback.
Better than Blake Squirtles.
We might have to trade for him.
Fuck. Yeah, I know, right? And then you trade for him, and he's awful.
He's
He
terrible.
actually, I was looking at this thing. He didn't even want to play. His intention was to be a coach. He was gonna be like an intern under Coach Saban. He didn't even want to really play, and then he got put on the Jags.
Really?
Now he's a starting quarterback.
No, he's a starting quarterback as a rookie.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
crazy.
funny. Besides, we got Leonard Fournette. You're gonna play Leonard Fournette.
For sure,
I'm
yeah.
gonna
I think
dial him up.
he saw a ton of carries, ton of touches.
He looked good. I liked him last week.
Yeah, I mean, and the Texans, they kind of got gashed by. I mean, Kamara is a special, different kind of breed of player. But even Latavius Murray had, a couple good runs against that Texans defense. So I think Leonard Fournette is perfectly fine, especially with the volume you're going to get from him. He's probably locked into like a top 15 play this week. It's the receivers that get kind of tricky here. So I mean, we all kind of like D.D. Westbrook, because Foles tends to lean on the slot guy. But he goes down. And Minshew comes in. He spread the ball around pretty decent. I know Chris Conley had a pretty good game. DJ Chark had a good game. I mean, Westbrook, a couple catches, only 30 yards, but a touchdown.
Just a stat I saw that kind of helps me feel a little bit more confident to kind of have some more faith in DD.
24%.
Yeah, so yeah, he's threw 24% of his pass attempts to the slot receiver, Minshew. But even then, it's like I still not sure. I want to see how in a full game, like a full week to prepare, who does he lean on, you know?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, basically, like you said, 24% of Minshew's targets went to D.D. Westbrook. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not that bad of a sign for him, but we'll see.
I mean, I think you're in like a 3 wide receiver league, you know, throwing D.D. Westbrook out there in a game where, I mean, I'm assuming the Texans are -8.5, so, you know, Vegas has got them being in a league. Jaguars going to have to come back from behind, is what they're saying. I think, you know, D.D. Westbrook should be okay.
Well, then Houston, they said Houston just cut their nickel corner.
Oh, he got cut because from the Saints game? He probably fucked up, and they were like...
So they're going to they don't know who they're going to go up against, but it's going to be like a second-round rookie up against D.D., so I like the D.D.'s matchup in this game.
Yeah. Like I said, I probably feel more comfortable starting him over any of the other guys, but I'm curious to see how involved Chris Conley and DJ Chark get involved.
Sure.
Tight end and defense-wise, I'm probably not playing the Jaguars' defense. I mean, they just got gashed by I know it's Mahomes and the Chiefs, and they have one of the best offenses, but, I mean, going from that offense to now going against Deshaun Watson and that offense, it's tough 2 weeks for this Jaguar defense.
Yeah, it's rough.
With that being said, on the Texans side of the ball, I mean, you got the future MVP, Deshaun Watson. I'm calling it right now. He's winning MVP.
I like it. He's got a little O-line help.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely dialing him up. You know, DeAndre Hopkins is just a fucking savage. Man,
what do you got? 13 receptions this week?
That guy is so good, man. It's crazy how good he is. And even though as good he is, you don't get points for body slamming people, but it did look nice.
Yeah, obviously dialing up Hopkins. How about these running backs on Houston?
I mean, Duke Johnson was like the PPR guy, and then you had Carlos Hyde. He actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, he didn't look bad. Up against the Jaguars, how do you feel?
I mean, Duke Johnson is a guy who's probably like a low-end RB2 flex guy. Trying to pull up the snap percentage here. But, I mean, even Carlos Hyde looked pretty good. So you had Duke Johnson played 63%, 42 snaps, and then Carlos Hyde played 37%, only 25% of the snaps. I still think Duke Johnson, I think that's about how it's going to be most of the time, like a 60-40 split. You know, but Duke Johnson obviously offers the PPR upside, a couple catches a game here and there. I'm curious to see if Hyde can do it again. Like I said, it's still the Jaguars' defense, pretty good defense. We'll see what happens. I'd feel more comfortable starting Duke Johnson out of the two.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on it?
Probably Duke Johnson. Just most of my leagues are PPR leagues, so yeah, I would probably go Duke Johnson in that scenario.
Yeah, he'd be like a low end RB2, like a flex guy. Duke Johnson. Carlos Hyde would be. I mean, I'd have to be like in a pinch, like maybe I lost Geis. Maybe I lost Tevin Coleman. I kind of don't have anyone. And, like, it's like, all right, I have to play you.
Would you play Carlos Hyde or Rex Burkhead?
I'd probably lean on Sexy Rexy.
Yeah, just for the ceiling.
I really like Rex. I think he's undervalued.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong.
What else? Carlos Hyde or I don't know. I'm like looking at all these guys and all these teams, and they all have RB1, just set guys. Like, I
mean, Carlos Hyde or like a Justin Jackson. I'm going Carlos Hyde probably over that one. Carlos Hyde or like Chris Thompson, AP. I'm going AP and Chris Thompson over him.
I would do the same thing.
Carlos Hyde over like Drake. That's maybe where I'm cutting the line. Maybe just Drake because he gets the PPR, the pass catching guy.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Yeah, if you have Carlos Hyde, he's just a good depth play. We'll see how it works out. Another week in the system, another week to get acclimated to the playbook and in the team. We'll see how he did look good though. He was running really good. Like I said, DeAndre Hopkins, he's a stud. You're starting him. A guy who I actually like this week though is Will Fuller. Yeah. What's your thoughts on him?
Fuller House.
Fuller House.
I'm not mad at it. If you see, I mean, what's his name? What's that really good corner on Jaguars?
Well, Jalen Ramsey's going to shadow DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you got Jalen Ramsey on Hopkins. So yeah, that makes me think Will Fuller's going to be more open.
Yeah.
I think you still have to play Hopkins, like we said. You got to play him. You
Yeah.
draft him in the fucking first round. You're for sure playing him,
Especially after that game last week.
Yeah, of course. But still, yeah, Will Fuller, I like that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I can say is this: Ramsey's gonna shadow DeAndre Hopkins. So the Jaguars also have another Pro Bowl corner, AJ Bouye, on the other side, but he's trending in the wrong direction of he's not gonna play. So if he does not play, then I think Will Fuller will be like a top 20 wide receiver for me this week. Just because like if every game him and Deshaun Watson play, they seem to connect on a deep pass, you know, and he's a touchdown machine with Deshaun Watson there. Played 97% of the snaps. And like I said, if AJ Bouye is not there, I think, Will Fuller could be the receiver this week who has 2 touchdowns, instead of DeAndre Hopkins. So I love Will Fuller. If you could get him on the low, I try to buy low on him right now because I feel like a monster game is brewing for him. Kenny Stills, they traded for him from the Dolphins. He's actually a guy too I like, just because as much as I do like Will Fuller and I think he has a good game, he just can't seem to stay healthy for a full season. And then even Kiki QD, he's supposed to make his comeback, but even then he's banged up a lot of times. So even if one of these guys just missed, I think Kenny Stills would have a massive value going forward. So if you have a bench spot, I've grabbed him in 2 of my leagues. I kind of just threw him on my bench. He only played 42% of the snaps, but I mean, like I said, if one of these guys get hurt, which they are both injury prone, Kiki and Will Fuller, I think Kenny Stills' value is just gonna shoot it. He's a good player, a good football player.
Yeah. Thank God he's not on the Dolphins anymore. Poor guy.
Yeah. So I like Kenny Stills. So you've got a spot, like I said, go grab him and throw, just throw him on your bench at least. Like I said, I'd rather have this guy on my bench throw up 20 points instead of you playing and being like, oh, Kenny Stills fucking scored 20 points against me. Right. And then that's the reason why you lose. Texans defense, I like them. Sneaky. I mean, you're getting a rookie on the road in a division game. I think the Texans are going to be, after that last second loss to the Saints on the road, I think coming home against the Jaguars, I think they're going to be hungry.
I like it.
They're going to be hungry for some Jaguars.
Oh shit. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, that's good. I think that's the first half of the games we're going to go over, though, right?
For sure. Definitely it is. This has been the Matchups Breakdown Part 1. Thank you for listening. This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. We appreciate all of you, every single one of you. Thanks for listening. If you could leave us a rating or review and or both, do both. Do it down below. Just scroll on down if you're listening to audio on Apple Podcasts. Hit that 5-star. Do it, baby. Check us out on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. You won't. Hashtag you won't. Follow us on Instagram at AverageBros _fantasy football. Ask us questions on there. Dude, people have really been asking us a lot of shit on there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you got questions, hit us up.
We respond right away.
We'll try to do our best to respond as fast as we can. One thing I say is if any advice that we give anyone who asks us something, we would do it in return. I'm not saying oh, just do this and then I wouldn't do it, So if I say hey, sit this guy and start this guy, that's what I would do, or that is what I'm doing. Yeah, and my own team.
Right. And if we were in that situation, we would do exactly that. So basically, whatever we tell you, if you're it ends up into a situation where it doesn't work out for you, well, it didn't work out for us either. If we were in your spot, it didn't work out for us. So that being said, we got your back. So hit us up. You're trying to do a live? We should do a live Instagram on Sunday before. Maybe we'll do that.
We could try. It's just tough. We work.
Yeah. Oh.
If we get off, I can try.
I could throw it on there. I could help out. So Yeah. So give us a follow. Check us out. Ask us some questions on there. That's all I got for you. Thanks for listening. This has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. And we're out. We're out like trout. Oh, let me get that outro music, dude. I'm slacking. I used to add this in at the end, but here we go. In the podcast, live. You know why? Because I had it labeled as Average Bros intro. Who knew it was an outro?
This is
Oh,
the outro.
wrong slide. Dude, I'm fucking sliding wrong on all these knobs.
Second half of the matchups next episode.
Ah.